Hey, it's Rye, and as the title says, I'm going to be talking about something that I'm pretty passionate about, and that being a common ship in the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom, willry. If you don't know, willry, or also known as Helium, is a ship between William Afton and Henry Emily, both important characters in the FNAF universe, the co-owners of Freddy's. There's a lot of mixed views on this ship as it's commonly hated on, yet also probably the most popular ship in Five Nights at Freddy's. But why is that? Well, back then there weren't really any human characters that we knew of, so the fandom would ship the animatronic characters with each other. And recently we've mostly all come to the conclusion how strange that can be, primarily with the original cast being possessed by young dead children. Those that still ship animatronics together usually do the ones that aren't possessed, or that aren't possessed in their AUs, but some people still ship the main cast together, and that's fine too, but that leaves us with the human characters we are aware of now. There aren't many due to them mostly being security guards, and of those security guards, most of them can be identified as Michael Afton, or whatever you have him be in your AU. The others are Jeremy Fitzgerald and Phone Guy. At least those are the main important ones. Of course, there's others too. William Afton is the main villain in the Five Nights at Freddy's story, but he has a quite close relationship with his business partner and friend, Henry Emily. When you look into their relationship dynamic, it's understandable why they are shipped together. From the books, you can clearly see how obsessive William is over Henry, and how it's really strange if he was that obsessive over someone he saw as just a friend. And back then, in the 80s, it was not socially acceptable in really any way for someone to be attracted to someone else of the same gender identity. So it also makes sense why William could only process these feelings with his obsessiveness and writing Henry's name over and over in his journals, instead of acting on these feelings that he could have been feeling. But we never know because it's not confirmed or anything like most FNAF theories. But this ship makes complete sense, and I understand why people ship them together. Those two have the most written relationship than really any of the other characters in the fandom, so there's more to go off of. I've noticed nowadays it's very common for it to be one-sided, where only William feels these things and Henry does not reciprocate those feelings, and that leads to some of the drama between them and what happened to Charlie. But speaking of Charlie, here is where a lot of the split views come in. Charlie was William's first victim. Charlie was also Henry's daughter. Brains worrying, you can see why that makes the ship a little rocky. A lot of people say that it makes the ship problematic. Although we don't know why William killed her, it still doesn't excuse the fact that he did, and it caused Henry to spiral down a path of depression and a little bit of insanity. People don't like the fact that willry shippers ship a man who killed the other man's daughter, and although that makes sense, there's more to it than just what people see. Most willry shippers ship them before Charlie's death. This is reasonable, as William hasn't committed any murders before that point and hasn't done anything to the Emily family. It makes sense and allows for that freedom without having any of the seemingly toxic side of it. But from what it seems after Charlie's death, Henry doesn't seem to know that William is the killer, which is plausible for why that ship may continue after that point. If Henry is unaware of what William has done, then why would it affect their relationship? For all we know, Henry could still see this perfect man that he fell in love with before, and William is just supporting him through his daughter's death. William is manipulative and a good liar, so we can understand that he can just keep up appearances for everyone surrounding him, so they don't expect that anything is wrong. Same goes for all the killings in Freddy's. But it's also an important thing to keep in mind that it's common for some people to keep loving someone even after they've learned all of the horrible things they've done. It's human, and it's not something people can help, so it could be the case for Henry. From what it looks like, Henry still seems to have at least some care for William even after everything, and especially cared for him a lot before he found out. But an important thing to remember is that it doesn't mean he forgives William. If someone is a willry shipper, it does not mean that they condone any of the behavior in real life. and it does not make them a bad person. This is the part that I get so angry and frustrated about. People who do not agree with this ship often paint willry shippers as awful people and treat them less than in the fandom. This is unacceptable, and they do not deserve to be harassed for a ship that they enjoy if it's not hurting anyone in the process or being ignorant. Example, taking away someone's representation, all that. Let's take a moment to stop and think that this is a fandom ship. And Five Nights at Freddy's of all fandoms as well, so you especially cannot come across a perfectly healthy, normal relationship with how the story is. Shipping is incredibly common in all fandoms, and it is also heavily debated on by people who disagree with a certain ship. Everyone in the entire world has their own opinions and has a right to their opinion, and it's not something we can control, but something we can control is not bullying someone over a stupid ship in a story that's not even real just because we don't agree with it or we think the characters are better off with these other characters. And nobody is ever really saying this ship is canon. It's called a headcanon for a reason. If there's something about someone else's headcanon that you don't like, is it really worth it to go out of your way and argue or harass them because you think your opinion is better? I'd hope not. I think willry is misunderstood in the FNAF fandom, which leads to the shippers being harassed. I don't think that is okay, which is why I'm even making this in the first place. I've seen a lot of people suffer from it, and a lot of my friends as well. When content is supposed to be enjoyable and fun, especially when you have people to share it with. And as I've said before to my friends, anyone out there, if you ship willry, then you ship willry. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with you. I've got your back. Thanks for listening. I hope all of you have a nice rest of your day.